Oh, hi, Rick.
Oh, hi, Brad.
There you go.
Oh,
That's
Brad.
better. That feels like the old days.
That's our sign.
You know, that probably began out of nervousness when we met because I was trying to be cool. And so in my attempt to be cool, hey, this was a long time ago. And, you were Richard Dean Anderson. You were a major star. You still are a major star, but you know what I'm saying? And I was trying to be cool. So I went, oh, hi, Rick.
Yeah, very casual, very thrown away.
It became our thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a long time.
No kidding. You said 11 and a half years?
Something like that. I think so. I mean, that's how long ago you came to play in Stargate Universe a few times.
Yeah.
And that was the last Stargate that happened. I was going to call this Brad and Rick talk on a trip down lack of memory lane. I thought that would be appropriate.
Losing memory lane. I love it.
Well, people say I've done the occasional interview, or I'm sure you do conventions all the time. They don't. No, I don't. But when you could. Pre-COVID, you were, yeah. And people would ask, hey, do you remember this? And you would just, no, I don't really. That's the same way.
If I was ever there with one of our other
Amanda
friends,
or Michael.
Yeah, mostly Amanda, if I got asked the question, I always just immediately look to her. I said, don't ask me, I don't remember 2 minutes ago. Ask her, she knows.
And she does know.
Yes, she does. She's doing well.
Amanda has become an amazing director.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, she came and did my last show, which was already coming up on almost 3 years ago. Travelers. You have to watch it if you haven't seen it.
Say it again.
Travelers.
Travelers. Okay.
It's on Netflix.
Okay. Oh, good.
And Amanda directed a ton of them and ended up being in the third season like our main director, Andy and Amanda and Will. You remember the people behind the camera. I know you do.
Truly, I do.
Yeah, I know. And no, she's really good. And of course, I made her be in the show as well. Eric McCormack was the lead, but it was fun. We had a great time. It was a great time. Good show. You know what we did though, and if you and I both had this sense of keeping people together and promoting from within, and we always did that. That's what Andy started off as a first AD. So did Martin, and they became great directors.
Where's Martin these days?
Martin's doing a lot of stuff for Netflix. I think he's like the main director on a Netflix show that shoots on Vancouver Island. We've kind of lost touch. I suck at keeping in touch with people. Yeah, exactly. So hi, I have to do a podcast in order to say hello to people. It's my only way.
Yeah,
it's my only way. No, but I mean that was the fun of Stargate. We had this growing family, and we cared about people becoming what they wanted to be, and that's why so many people stuck around for so long.
I think so. Yeah. Well, because it was fun. I know the only demand I made on set was that everybody have a good time, feel good. It's got to be positive. If you've got a problem, come to us, go to Brad and air it out, get it out. Nothing's festering, and it seemed to work out. It
did, and I quote you actually constantly in every room I've been in since, and it's your acronym LTS, because life's too short.
Oh yeah.
Well, you just occasionally, if there was an actor that sounded like they might be a handful that somebody was talking about, you might just turn to me and say, LTS. And you were
Like,
right. And that's how to proceed, right?
well, I remember in the MacGyver days, I would just confront the actor. I did that a couple of times, and it didn't serve me well overall, but it usually took care of problems on the spot. I mean, if a couple actors that were acting like their shit didn't stink, or we owed them something bigger than a paycheck, and it just didn't fly with my sensibilities, my Minnesota upbringing.
So when was the last time you still, I know you still see or talk to Dan Shea. You probably haven't seen Amanda since she was at a convention with you. Have you heard from anybody?
No, not at all. I've kind of correspond a little with Amanda, although lately she's been apparently very busy. And
she's producing, directing now. Arguably, that's the hardest job in the business because there's no off time. You're always there. You're not only directing when you're directing when other people are directing. I mean, you were definitely there for a chunk of it, but there was a time in the last couple of seasons of SG1 in the beginning of Atlantis where we were doing both shows at once.
Right. I remember
John Smith was like saying, okay, we're gonna have like, I think 5 units today. And what happened?
Oh, there you
go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm not going to lose you this time. I found you after all these years. I was just changing the angle.
Oh, good. Yeah. You're doing a little directing on the spot. Okay. There you go. There you go. That's good.
Better
That's
lighting so you see this thing so much.
Oh yeah.
You got one?
Catch it. Oh God, yeah.
Well, mine's from
my waddle's fatter.
You've got more heft to it, I will admit. This is all just skin from having lost weight.
Yeah.
And
well, good for you.
Well, not intentionally. I've been not physically on top of my game. Let's put it that way.
Who knew that skiing down a hill at 90 miles per hour and crashing was going to be a bad idea?
Several times.
Yeah.
Or trying to be a hockey player in my 60s was going to be a problem. Yeah. But it has become. It's not dire. I'm not going to die or anything. Although I think someday I may.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible.
I'll lay odds.
It's the only contest that everybody wins, right? We all end up with that ticket.
But yeah, it's just a hassle. I mean, it's such a drag because, I'm what am I? 71, I guess.
70 something. I know that. I just turned 60.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, you're beautiful. You're so beautiful. My boy. Oh.
Hey,
have you?
I remember your bowling party for your 50th. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
That was fun.
I still have one bowling pin from it that April wrote on it and ruined
I don't know why you would have taken more than one, but
true.
It's probably, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But film is in the family now. Do you mind talking a little bit about that?
Oh,
that's exciting.
Talk about. Are you kidding? I am so elated the way this girl has turned out.
We're talking about Wiley, your daughter.
Wiley Quinn Anderson. Yeah, she's. I don't know where the energy came, but she's 23. Kids, but she went to college in Emerson back in Boston and graduated with a degree in acting performance and had the sense enough to get a degree minor in education, in teaching. So she, during the pandemic, when it was like just kind of taking over, she was able to teach small groups of kids in isolation.
Both my kids teach high school,
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
they're both.
great.
Yeah, they're both high school teachers. It's
Oh,
and it was their vocation from a very young age. It's something that they wanted to do. They're both wanting to be teachers from when they were little.
Where did that notion come from?
I know this. I know they had absolutely no desire to be in our business. Because do you remember when we would have kids? Exactly. Remember we would have kids sometimes, as extras. And I once during the Outer Limits, when my kids were very young, asked them to come on, we'll go, and all you have to do is run with the other kids. All you have to do is run with the other kids. And they were wrapped around my legs, one each. So it was not going to happen.
All you have to do is sit around and wait forever. And then run.
That's true. That's true. They do both write, though. They do both write. My youngest, Kayla, has written a novel. Both of them have written novels. I think Kayla's a little more serious about it. But
how old are they?
32 and 30.
What?
Yeah. I know.
Oh my God.
I know.
I thought you were like 16 and 18.
They would be very young teachers at that stage. Tess, do you remember when I was trying to get the nudity out of the first episode, and we were all sitting in the room and editing, and I had Tessa with me sitting on my knee, and I said, so I have to take my daughter out of this scene. So maybe that's a clue as to my opinion on this. And they agreed to cut the nudity in half, but that's it.
But still full frontal, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? To its credit, the existence of that, I think it garnered some attention.
True. Which
might have helped down, along the way. So Wiley is now, she left college, and before she left, she was in like a few acting troupes, one in improv / comedy troupe.
That's where you started.
She absolutely did that on her own, because she's seen my antics, but there's nothing structured about what I do and how I talk or write. But she got the spark, and she took a chance, and she just jumped in feet first, and was very successful at what anything that she was taking on. She acted in several one acts at Emerson, but then the last year she got into the film department. Finally, I was kind of pushing her towards that a little bit, because when she was a kid, as soon as I knew she could show interest, she was making little short films, editing on the computer, and just with an aptitude that knew how to do that. Allowed, because I don't have that unless somebody else is doing the moving around. There's a Mike Elliott.
But you have an innate awareness of what a good cut is. I used to get
but I don't know how to get it. She had the technical prowess as well. But so anyway, she's done a bunch of those, and then left and came out to California. She's been back to New York several times, but she started writing a film finally.
Right.
She's written a play which is very successful in Boston, but then she wrote this screenplay, and it started out just as a kind of a story, which developed into a full-fledged stage directions and everything type script, which she's in prep for right now. And I just am elated. In fact, if we kept talking like this, I would be misting up, because
that's great.
She's finding, and I warned her about, the problems that you'll face, and the general, nastiness of the business. But along the way, you're going to find people to help you. And I'm the first one. So always turn if you need. She doesn't turn to me at all.
That's great, though. It's great that she doesn't. I mean, that's what you want, right?
Yeah, absolutely. She has left the nest and she's on her own. I financed this movie she's doing right now, but it's a very low budget. And I just want her to be freed up to be the creative director on this. And it's working out. She's in prep. She's doing the whole thing, casting. She's just a gem. I'm telling you.
That's fun. And that's the way, the way to get attention as a director, especially, but as a writer director, definitely. The way to get attention is to make your own stuff, because that's the only path in. It's not like anybody's going to give a young person, like I get asked all the time when I'm making a show, like it happened with Stargate, people would say, hey, can we try so-and-so? Would you, they're a great up and coming director. And we would go, no, it's a $3 million episode television. We spend $100,000 a day. If your new client makes a mistake, we're screwed. We can't afford to risk that. We can only, and if we're going to risk anybody, it's going to be one of our own upcoming people who we know and love and trust, and we will not let them fail.
We had a bunch of those guys too, and girls.
Yeah.
No, that's a wonderful philosophy, policy to have, actually.
It is, and so when we did Travelers, it was so nice. We brought a lot of people back that I had worked with, and it was fun. It was fun to see how people would go. And in the interim between Stargate and my show, I had learned a whole bunch of stuff and brought it to the table and said, how about this? And I go, yeah, that sounds amazing. Let's do that. I'm not really someone who will ever want to direct. Did you never had that desire?
No, I thought that would, for me, be a kind of a selfish indulgence. And I didn't want to basically get in the way, because the show ultimately, except for some nuances along the way, was pretty solid. And that's not the word I'm looking for, but it had a certain structure to it.
We were a well-oiled machine.
Exactly. And I didn't want to educate myself as a director on a set where people were making it work. And I was probably a little, I don't know, maybe afraid of it a little bit.
I think that's fair for me too. Yeah. I mean, not being able to, as I once said to someone else, what is it about the credit executive producer that you find inadequate? If we wanted a shot, if we wanted to get a sequence of shots, we could say, hey, do this sequence of shots. And the director would say, okay. And the rest of it is just a ton of work, right? You know?
Yeah, that was the other, I forgot about the aspect about how much work it is, and to the prep and the everything. I don't think I could have done it.
I used to on Travelers, because I was the sole showrunner creator, as opposed to sharing the duties as we did through Stargate. I would often go to the set really early. I go to work really early and then just drop by set to see how the set looked, if it was a fresh set. And Andy was always there at least an hour before call, just to make sure, just to double check. So, he's already working 14-hour days, comes in an hour early, just because that's Andy. Just got to make sure, just got to, that level of hard work is so, I don't even know if I have it in me.
That's Wiley, just what you described in Andy. She is so, and she's gotten this comment from everyone she's met along the way during this production. She is so prepared. Just she got that from college. She just from that point on, she had to be ready. She had to know everything. And I swear to God, anyone I talk to just says, do you know your daughter's kind of prepared for this? And I just said, well, rumor has it that, yeah. And
That's great though.
oh, it's so wonderful. It's a work ethic that I espouse. Wait, is that the right word?
Espouse, yeah, you believe in it. That's
Yeah.
what that would mean. Yeah, yeah.
Didn't know what that
Aspire to would be another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's so good. That's all. The bottom line is that she's not. I don't have to worry about her.
That's so good.
Do, of course, but
of course,
that's
you had your share of getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get into makeup for 6 to get on set for 7. You did that for I don't know, a few hit shows.
Too long, but
over a couple of decades.
Yeah, but that's just getting up early, and so what? I mean, you got to get up sometime. We all
or just stay up.
Well, only twice I think I did that, and that was an accident.
The other thing that made it was different from our schedule compared to a lead actor schedule is after Wrap, we started writing the next season, right?
Yeah,
that was those are fun days. Don't get me wrong. We rolled the dice. I asked MGM every year I said, look, just put aside a little money, for development, just in case. Let's roll the dice on getting picked up. And the only year that we didn't develop for next season, but don't forget, I remember sitting with you and Michael Greenberg in Norco when John Symes called us in season 1 to say he was giving us another 44 episodes. I don't know if you remember that, but we were 4 seasons. So that's how that started.
How does it work now these days in general?
Well, first of all, you don't get 20 episodes.
Right.
We were doing 22. And then when we were doing both shows, we were doing 40. And now if you're lucky, you get 6.
6, yeah.
And then they'll fill it out to make a full season of 10, for an order.
So the order
just a pilot.
I mean, they have to give you some lead time for production, right?
They should, but they don't. They just try to throw more writers at the problem. And here's the other thing, Rick. When you do 10 episodes of something, that's not even half a year. So you can't ask your crew, like with 22 episodes, the crew could, take off for 2 months, maybe do a movie, or maybe take the time off, right, and then come back and do it all again for 22 episodes. Because we always built in, as was part of your contract, thank you, a 2-week hiatus in the middle of every season.
Oh, okay. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. No, that was something that the studio probably would have agreed to, but you said, why don't I just put it in my contract? And we all went, that's a really good idea, right?
Oh no, yeah, we can do it. Yeah, you bastard. I'm
2 weeks off. No, we got our 2 weeks off. It was thanks to you. And that actually I wrote most of them, but it was a much lighter schedule. But my other favorite story from the beginning of Stargate, I tell this too. I don't know if you remember this, but it's a great Richard Dean Anderson story. Contractually, your name, Richard Dean Anderson, had to be the same size as the title Stargate SG-1 in terms of the same font. Now, that's not something you requested, obviously. That was just something that your agents and lawyers stuck in. And in fact, I know it's not something you requested because I remember you laughing your head off when I showed you the poster that couldn't fit Richard Dean Anderson anymore. It could only fit the word Hard Dean Anders. Hard Dean Anders was all that fit. And you had the same reaction as you did just now. You went, I kind of like it. Hard Dean Anders, let's go with that.
Oh my God. I'm just now finding out about the font size. This is
Oh, no. Yeah, I remember you just laughed at that and said, don't worry about it. Change it to whatever you need. It was pretty funny.
make it fit.
Yeah. Yeah, that was you not exercising your tremendous star power at the time. You just said, ah. At least we didn't go with hard Dean Andrews. That would have been different. When you think about your career, do you I'm sure you jump back and forth because we all do, but what was harder? Being the lead of you were younger, but MacGyver was you were in every scene, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. And you got some scenes off occasionally in Stargate as we split things up a little bit.
Yeah.
But you were running around and shooting in both. So which would you say was harder?
Well, MacGyver was more difficult physically. I had more fun doing Stargate than I did doing, not that MacGyver wasn't fun, but it certainly was arduous. In part because, and there's kind of a balance here because I was in virtually every scene, not literally, but but thankfully I was younger doing the MacGyver than, because I was ready to kind of settle into something when we all met. And
right.
I didn't know it initially, but the more it, kind of grew and we all got to know each other as actors and produce and, as a family.
Yes.
It became just so much fun for me because everybody, first of all, everybody was very bright and had brought their own stuff and personalities to their characters, and we all got along. And there was just kind of a lighter environment in which to work. And again, it goes back to what the only demand I had was that, let's not make this brain surgery, or let's make this a happy brain surgery. Whatever.
I like putting it that way. Let's make it an enjoyable brain. If we have to have brain surgery, let's enjoy ourselves.
Make it
yes. Yeah. It's the way. Honestly, it's the only way to make TV. People seem to want to go out of their way to make it difficult, to set a fire so that they can put it out. Drives me nuts.
Who does that? I mean, we need names, but or maybe we do need names.
No, there have been people in our path that did do that. I won't name names, but sometimes they were in charge of letting us continue another season, so we had to grin and take it sometimes.
Okay, I didn't know those people.
No, well, or when they were with you, it was always pleasant. Yeah. There were a few knife fights, Rick. I had a few knife fights.
Oh yeah, I was never so or more aware of the dynamic of walking into the room and knowing that there had been tension, but then all of a sudden here comes the Angel Anderson, and let's be nice to him.
Yeah.
Just so. Whatever.
No, it's important. It's important. You a little bit of life saving sometimes.